Bacchus Hop Smell Show is hot.
Larry Love.
Drink.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Just drinking water.
Not water.
So we're gonna go back. We haven't done none of these for a while, so I texted String of Love the other day because we got group text that said, let's do our 5 favorite guitar solos, which we know is gonna change every day.
Yeah.
Depends on my mood.
I guess when I sat down and when I picked my solos, it's kind of like, to me, a guitar solo is kind of like a journey. This is for me. Mm-hmm. And I love, just when the solos just take you on a ride and they're just freaking awesome. And influential and all that stuff. Where did y'all come from, your pickings? Did you have...
Well, I'm going to kind of poke the bear a little bit because when we got this group message, and Hop said heavy metal, so right there that took out Jerry Bear,
everything.
Yeah, no Jerry Bear, no David Gilmour, no Stereophonics, maybe tomorrow, no Skinnerd, no Yardbirds with Eric Clapton or with
Although I don't
Jimmy
know,
Page.
Yardbirds, you could. Some of that shit's pretty heavy.
So
yeah, it eliminated a lot.
It eliminated like No Sunshine Your Love,
Hotel California.
It took a lot of those out. So, I had to actually sit and think about some metal, and some of them, like I said, for the time periods for when they were, and what they were, like what I felt for them, or to that effect. And what do you think? Like, did you have any opinions from the beginning?
It's depends on your mood, and that's kind of where I was mostly drawn from. I have couple all times, and then I got some newer ish kind of stuff thrown in there too. It's just something that maybe it's like he said, makes you feels like you're on a journey. And then, something that just, may spark a memory that you had for something, whatever. It's just, I don't know. You get something and just hooks you in and just makes you feel good.
That's what guitar solo is all about, man. Just that good feeling. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Hop, what's your...
Well, I told you we was going to do this halfway through. Let's just go ahead and do it now.
Okay, let's do it now.
So,
like a Band-Aid.
Rip it out.
Hop's Metal Show Facebook.
Not.com.
Not.com.
No, not.com. We have a lot of interaction. Lil Wing, he's even involved. He even quoted
Lil Wing.
Scott Weingart. John Page, which was the guy I'm telling you, I think he's from Colorado. And Tony Gamble, they're the regulars. They are always talking with Jerry Lambert. They always talking with Jerry. But
Jerry's a good guy. I see why they talk to him.
Yeah, he's metal. He might be close to the metal master. He knows his stuff.
He knows his metal.
But anyway, Scott Weingart had Dimebag's solo in Floods. It's probably my favorite all time. Damn, I miss Pantera. Hey, we all miss Pantera.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about that. And Dimebag, he made my countdown, so. But yeah, he's.
I'm not saying shit.
But I mean, it's time. Dime done. We talked about that in the Pantera videos. Yeah. What Dime done was amazing.
Yep.
And keep in mind, we're only 5.
I
could have slapped down probably 15 or 20.
Oh yeah, and it's
easily,
there was stuff that I could have put in there, but I just went from what rolled off first 5 of my head.
And I found a paper from a long time ago. We were actually going to do our 10 guitar.
Like guitarists?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we never did. And Hop don't remember it now.
I found out about that book of scratches. That out pretty quick.
Then we got John Page. Anyone by Sayu. That's that Gallinarius.
Oh, yeah, that dude's freaking phenomenal too.
He said Angel Salvation, but I don't know if you remember. But yeah, well, it's Japanese guitar. Mm-hmm. We know that everybody down there.
That dude is on.
Yeah, that guy.
He's
And Kerr Griffin got Return to Serenity.
He's having a hard
let's
time
just
with
drink a
words
couple
tonight.
more beers.
English is hard.
Testament, Alex Skolnick. Alex Skolnick's badass.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Little Wing, SIN, Ozzy. And then Jakey Lee's solo in the Ultimate Ozzy. And if anybody has never seen that solo, you need to go check it out. Just for the fact that Ozzy pulls Jakey around by his hair and he still plays the shit out of the guitar.
I have a little comment on him coming up soon.
And this,
Oh, a little sneaky, saying I wasn't going to say nothing. Slide a
and
little
the next
hint.
one,
little
this
snippet.
one come really close. This one was battling to get in the top 5. It's Tom Kiefer's solo, Long Cold Winter.
Ooh, that is a good one, man. Nice.
Live hole.
Yeah. Tom brings it. Yeah, I mean, everybody, can say what they want, but his guitar skills is,
He's got a lot of heart
yeah.
in his. He's got.
You can hear it in his
comes
playing.
right from right there.
And not sure about this. Devin Townsend. Deep Peace by Jesse Daniels. That's who listed that. I've never heard that.
I know Devin Townsend, but I don't know much of his stuff.
And Mike Hardesty. Mark Kendall's Great White, House of Broken Love.
That's a good one too.
Intro. Yeah, that's very good. And then Tony Gamble. He's got Ted Nugent's Stranglehold.
That's good. He's taking it back a
The
little
Nugget.
bit.
Tony's old school, so he's gonna throw some old school stuff.
So
in there.
Tony got a reply from Fred Albrecht. It said, especially the live version. I'd get stoned and crank that up and zone out. And John Page said, the Amboy Dukes song Migration has the influence in Stranglehold. All right, so that's Facebook.
.com.
Nope.
No, just Facebook.
Tube of views.
Facebook. And let's get to
To the next page and flippity flops.
we got the
Look, you
community
could have.
tab.
Yeah, I was
See
gonna
if
say you
we
should have told me. I could have had that
I guess we
shizzled up.
only had 2 comments.
Oh,
Hey now.
sorry.
Somebody had golly. Invara Blue Pagan's Mind Intermission is beyond amazing.
Okay, we're gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it seems that name kind of
Is
sounds.
Pagan's, what's that band that we done? We haven't done their stuff, have we?
I don't
Pagan's
think so.
Mind?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't sound familiar, but
And then So Many from Love Bites by Repo Bob. Shadowmaker, Holy War, Destiny's Line, which I think we've done all 3 of them. And we know them girls,
yeah, they can
jam.
They can bring it.
Finger
They
tap.
can bring it.
Finger Tap City.
Finger tapping. I
So
bet
that
that's
was-
gonna be on a top 5 somewhere.
Yeah. That was
Not on mine.
I named quite a few of Pops before we started this, and I was way off on string.
Yeah, he got one.
I was going Dream Theaters and the Sabotages and
All great musicians.
then that
definitely.
Dragon Force. I was
Yeah.
thinking that, but yeah, you were way, I was
that was-
way
I
off.
knocked him off that.
Yeah, that was some of the replies we had from just stuff I posted. All right, so y'all want me to start
Started off, man.
And these are in no certain order. They're just kind of where I've put them at the time. So number 5, which loves Guess the Guitarist, we'll mention him again, Dimebag.
Which Dimebag?
Cemetery Gates.
Okay, there we go.
Like I said, I'm all about the journey, so I like the little bit slower stuff that's got the feeling, and there's tons of feeling in Cemetery Gates. But I was listening to, so actually what I did was I picked all my songs, and I went back and listened. I put them on a playlist, listened to all the songs. And Cemetery Gates is like that whole freaking song. Just it changes, and the solo is awesome. But when he comes out of the solo, it goes back in that heavy ass riff that Cemetery Gates has got. And
I'll go ahead.
and that's why I went with Cemetery Gates. I mean, just the whole, all the lead work in that song's pretty awesome, and in the rhythm section.
All of these should be lead work.
All right. So I wrote no Cobain with Smell Like Teen Spirit because it's not a solo, it's a guitar riff. And in all truthfulness, that song is what killed guitar solos for a long time. And it was just kind of a poking it. But And there's no reason why I would actually do it, but I was just doing that to be funny. So I started off with dime bag, but I didn't because I was thinking of walk. But again, walk is the beginning of that is a riff, and it's a 2-chord instead of 3-chord, showing that in the old rock adage, you need 3 chords to be a rock and roll star. Dime did it in 2, and Dime is phenomenal. So I didn't actually put Dime any solos in general. I just had Dime as
a god.
That's right.
Yeah.
But my number 5.
Now ours. We've already talked about it. Ours is not in any order.
I didn't put them. I just wrote them down as I was
Gotcha.
going.
Right.
So my 5th one that I had first put down was
That
for
you first put down.
yeah. So Eddie Van Halen's Eruption.
I knew that was going to make somebody's list.
The finger tapping, I mean, it changed everything.
Yeah.
And he would hide from behind so nobody could see him
nobody
doing
knew
it.
what he
and,
was doing, yeah.
And if you think about it, there were so many teenager boys that just sat in the basement and just
Just
Oh, they
tried to do
said
what they could figure
slow
out.
down the record.
just so they could
just to
figure it out.
what he was doing.
And that's where I went with so that was my first one.
Yeah. And I'm sure everybody that we got, I'm sure they're all going to make everybody's list at some point in time. Definitely a good one. I even thought about putting that on there, but I was like, it's only 5. We could only put 5, and it would be on there because that one did come up.
Now, if it would have been Metal Sultan, the Swing would have been on there, but I think we were talking about that a while ago.
yeah.
Soul
I mean,
Swing
Hotel
is-
California, Freebird.
There are so
I mean,
many.
There's so many.
So
no
many.
Skinner. We couldn't put no
Yeah.
Skinner on this. So.
We just had to roll with this.
Yeah.
So mine, dime bag.
We all went dime pretty much
And
as
I'm
our...
going, I think you said Fred posted Floods.
Yeah.
I'm going with that.
No, John, Scott Weingart.
Oh, Scott. All right, sorry. So Scott and I are on the same page. Floods. I mean, it's just a soulful. You get a lot of feeling out of it. I mean, pretty much everything Dimebag did had heart and soul into it. But
What his hooks.
yeah,
Everything. Everything.
I'm like you. I mean,
I just couldn't put a...
Yeah.
I couldn't
It's
give one
hard.
solo. For
And
dime.
I'm with you. Cemetery Gates, another great one.
When
You can't go wrong with anything.
I
you
mean,
put.
if I would have sat down, I would have been.
They could all been 5.
Yeah.
We could have sat there and did name our 5
I mean,
favorite.
even Hollow.
Yeah, everything.
I mean, off the last song on freaking Vulgar Display. I mean, yeah.
So what's your next one that you're thinking of?
Number 4, Eruption.
There you go.
Eddie Van Halen. And we did a Love Bites video, and I made a comment that on their finger tapping that that I've seen a lot of Eddie Van Halen in the guitar work, and people commented it was more like Iron Maiden and Dragon Force and stuff like that, which I understood. I mean, that the songs do sound like that. I was just referring to the finger tap.
Yeah.
I don't remember anybody doing finger taps before Eddie Van
Right.
Halen. Eddie Van Halen created.
Well, yeah, you look at, even Iron Maiden, they were well after Eddie was.
Now, Jimmy
slaying
was
it.
doing some finger tapping.
Yeah, but I mean, not
well,
to the extreme,
Right.
that Eddie took it.
And I thought about some Maiden, and I thought about Jeff Hammond's and Slayer, but they didn't make my final for the...
Well, I mean, it's like I said, it's endless.
yeah, it's so hard.
Oh, yeah.
And I went with Eddie because everybody knows I'm an 80s junkie. I mean, I love 80s metal. And Eddie created all that.
Yeah.
All that hair band solo stuff was, you hear Eddie all over it. Mm-hmm. And when I think when you create a whole genre of guitarists, you pretty much the man.
There's going to be one on your list. I mean, all metal has that sound now
yeah.
with Zach, and I know that's going to be on yours. It might be on yours too. So, I figure both. So,
But that's why I was with Eddie. Is because he created a genre.
Now,
and Eddie's freaking awesome. I mean, he is.
Yeah, he is for sure. And you're going to like my 4th one. I went with Mick Mars and Starry Eyes, man. I just love that guitar riff, that guitar solo, and it come out in a slide. And you got cowbell. You can't go wrong. You always need more cowbell. It's always been one of my favorites of Motley Crue. And to put Mick Mars, I thought somebody should represent Mick Mars. And
Well, I don't know. We might see it again.
We might. I don't think.
Oh!
I didn't think. I didn't think Hop would actually make it to with Mick Mars.
There was a comment made about Mick Mars in Guitar Magazine years and years ago that said he is the most overrated, underrated
Rated guitar
guitarist in
player.
the business.
I would.
Because I mean, with the personalities that Motley Crue had, he kind of took a back seat.
He was just the old man that sat there.
Yeah.
You know, even then. So I guess for you next.
I'm going Zach.
There's your Zach.
No more tears.
And that guitar solo, his guitaring changed.
I mean,
A lot of people emulate.
It's just that slow, and it just builds and builds and builds, and he just unloads. I mean, it's just that. I mean, you and I have talked about this song so many times, and
Oh yeah, that song builds.
oh
and
God,
builds
it's
and
just and I don't even know. I don't even want to say it's the best ever because it's probably not. But it's just so memorable for me just seeing it live and just Zach being a big, one of our favorite guitarists
and
out
being
there.
so cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's so cool.
And like I said, man, a lot of people now emulate that wah
Oh, yeah.
sound that he does.
Oh, there's tons of
just
bands
like
that do
Eddie with
that.
his finger tabs. Zach has that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But I was trying to think, talking about that squeal that Zach does.
That harmonic thing.
Yeah, the harmonic. He actually got that, if I remember right, from Billy Gibbons.
Yeah, ZZ Top.
He heard it in a ZZ Top song, and he just kind of
Amped it up a
yeah.
little bit.
I mean, you didn't really notice in the ZZ Top, but it really stuck out to him, so he just started using
I watched their thing the other night on Axis.
what.
The ZZ Top.
Oh, that's pretty
that
good.
Legends. Yeah.
But then, and now I'm going to jump back to Eddie because there was something I wanted to remember. I remember Eddie talking about where he got the idea for finger taps. He said he was listening to Heartbreaker by Led Zeppelin, and Jimmy Page done a tap. He done a hammer on, and Eddie was like, "I wonder what will happen if I just do continuous hammer-ons." And that's how Eddie got the idea to create that. That's what I've heard, and that sounds logical.
So we'll go with it.
So that
Well,
was
and getting back to that harmonics thing that Zach does,
oh, that's his trademark.
yeah, and each generation has their own influences and what got them into in music, and it's just like I listen to a lot of Kill Switch, and
Yeah, you
there's
really hear
numerous bands
Disturbed,
that
you hear-
really throw a lot of that in there. And I think it was on one of the DVDs. There was like some extra footage or something on there, and they talk about that there was a bunch of bands up around the Massachusetts scene that were all kind of like coming up together, and they would like see how many they could throw in there on a song just to see, just because they love Zach and his style of playing and stuff. I mean, it just goes to show you how much of an influence
yeah.
he
man.
was to
That was like
younger
like Eddie.
bands, yeah. Newer bands, I should say, not younger, but younger for that time period.
So my next one, the man that gets a lot of flack that he's not really that good of a guitarist, is I'm going with The Unforgiven by Kirk Hammett.
There you go.
And I remember seeing it on, I think it was a year and a half in life. Bob Rock, Kirk Hammett put out a solo, and he said, "I think you can do better." And Kirk was like pissed because he just ripped out this killer solo. And I remember talking to people, chat rooms years ago. We're saying Kirk was
MySpace?
overrated. But I said, what about The Unforgiven? That's one of the best solos ever wrote. And they're like, well, give me another example, because The Unforgiven is a kick-ass solo.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We can give more examples. There'll be more given here in a little bit.
But I'm
Oh, look, he keeps throwing the hints out.
I'm going to give Kirk Hammett some love at number 3 with Unforgiven.
Hey,
I'm gonna go with
for that.
Tommy Iommi, man. Some Black Sabbath, Electric Funeral. You start off with the straight classical of the song, then it goes into a drop D with the distortion for the guitar solo itself, and then it comes out into the fused jazz and that do 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 bump bump bump. So I figured Tommy had to be put in here.
Oh, yeah.
So I went with an old school, one of the originals for
Godfathers.
metal, and that's where I'm going. So yours
definitely
next
a
one?
good one. I'm going with Opeth. something a little newer.
okay.
Something that this band I've been into for many years now.
they've been around for a while.
Yeah, they've been around for
One of the original women's screamers. Oh, that's OTEP, right?
OTEP. Yeah, this
sorry.
is not that band.
Wrong band. Wrong band. Another.
But they're growly. They used to be all growl, and then over the years they more clean vocals, and now they're pretty much all clean vocals. But a lot of their newer stuff is way more. I don't know. It's not that any of their stuff has ever been, not well thought out and methodical, but more so now, I think, because it's just a lot of the musicians that he's had in that band has progressed into almost like the perfect band right now. They've got some killer musicians in that band. But in 2008, Watershed came out with the song Burden, and the song is just full of like just underlying little solos here and there, throughout until it gets to the actual solo, and then it's Frederick and Michael just back and forth and with each other like a little duet, and then it's a good one. It's
all right. See, there was none. I would never.
See,
You got me on
I
that.
had to go all over the board.
Yeah,
so.
man.
So as everybody knows, I'm like stuck in the 80s. So
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing.
Love named this one right off the bat. He figured this one was gonna be on here.
Yeah, it was easy.
You can't have a countdown without Slash.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a countdown without a countdown to extinction.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun,
Dave was close.
dun,
Dave
dun,
almost
dun,
made
dun.
the countdown too. But November Rain and Slash's lead work,
I thought about putting that on my list.
and
I could smell it
You
from
know,
hop. I could smell it.
just the whole music as a journey to me. I mean, Axel's piano works great in that song.
and
don't
you've
get me
always
wrong.
talked about Slash as a November Rain guitar solo and a
But
lot
yeah,
of things. So.
I mean, even the solo is awesome, but even the lead work he's doing
Oh, yeah.
throughout the song is really showcases his guitar skill. So that's kind of where I was at. I mean, because when I went back and listened to it, the solo was great, but man, when I listened to the lead work all the way through, that's why I went with November Rain, and I want to showcase some Slash because you gotta love you some Slash.
Yeah, you do. So for my number 2, it started off with Jakey Lee and Bark at the Moon.
Which
We were talking about just a second. So, but I was like, but God damn it, that's just Randy to me. It's
Well,
always
see?
it's always felt like a Randy solo. So I sat here and I thought about for a while, even during our whole thing, and I was thinking about Kurt Hammett and a lot of the early solos were Dave Mustaine's, from Kill 'Em and Ride the Lightning and some off of Masters. And, you didn't really get, like you're saying, until we got to the Black Album. And the whole time in the back of my head, One was just slamming me, man. That guitar solo from One. And so poor Jakey, like Jakey's whole career, he got throwed out, man. And Kurt Hammett got put in there.
Well, I was going to put Jakey on my list too,
but I do
See, he gets cut. Jakey, poor Jakey, man. He's another one of those that underline.
He's a damn good guitarist, but it's just like it's like we're down to 5.
Yeah.
5.
But I do remember when we went to, it might have been after Ozfest, one of the Ozfest me and you went to, and you had asked me if I ever thought Bark at the Moon reminded
It's
me
just
of
I think it's a leftover
a Randy
man. I
Rhoads
think it's
solo.
Randy, and I think we had somebody comment at one time. We were talking about Ozzy, one of the Under the Graveyard or something. We were talking about, and if you think about all the guitar players we have talked about, how many of them already came from out of Sabbath? Tommy, Zach. We talked about
Ozzy's
Jakey.
associated.
There's one more that we haven't really talked about too much. I wonder what number 1 can be. Your go.
All right, so this one, he kind of guessed. Dragon Force, Through the Fire and Flames. It's one of those that's, when I first heard it, I was like, holy shit, like these fucking guys shred. And just super fast. And it's just like, wow, so memorable just because of all that. And then when I got to see him live and play this,
Well, they're like jumping on trampolines
they're
playing
doing
that shit.
freaking crazy shit. And it was like when I saw them, they played all right, so you got two guitarists and a bass player, and they're strumming their own guitar, and they're playing the neck of the other guys, and so you got three of them doing that. I mean, it's crazy. It's just like, wow. But, you know, when you're looking at Herman and Sam doing that duet back and forth, I mean, it's like 2.5 minute long solo or whatever it is. It's awesome. It's so memorable for me, just, you know, especially for seeing it live, and it's just like, wow. I had to make the cut.
Yep, there you go.
Number one.
There we go.
Done been mentioned.
Gotta do it light. I'm gonna get in trouble.
That is
That's right. It's back on the table.
But Zach, no more tears. I mean, String pretty much said it all. That solo is a journey. It is so freaking awesome. I mean, I love a lot of his solo stuff, but that's the one that really sticks out. And like you said, when you see it live, it's like it just builds up. You're just ready for it. I mean, it's building, and then it just takes off. And even when Ozzy starts singing again, Zach's still back there
still
doing some lead stuff to finish it off.
You know, another good, I'm going to throw you off there for a second. In This River, we saw that live.
Yeah. I mean, that was...
That you know there was some heart in that one.
Another day, but the list was done final.
Yeah.
And kind of like Slash, man, love me some Zach. I'll tell you a cool thing about String when he done his radio show. He might talk about this for he got to meet Zach, haul him around, and brought him down to this
chauffeur around Harrisonburg
club that we was at, and it was kind of cool to hear Zach just talking amongst him with the band, and you know we was just hearing a rock and roll talk. And I know somebody asked Zach about the Guns N' Roses gig and the Guns N' Roses guys, and they were like talking about Axl, you know, this and that. And somebody made a snide comment, or they didn't, well, not really a snide comment. They said something about Slash, and Zach had Slash's back, which I thought was cool, you know, because he didn't have, I mean, Slash wasn't there.
right.
But says a lot about Zach, and it says a lot about Slash.
Right.
I mean, because, you know, Zach was basically taking Slash's spot, but he still had nothing bad to say about it. I mean, he took up for Slash. He said, don't talk about that man.
Right, especially if you ain't there to defend yourself too.
So, but, you know, so there's my number one, Zach.
So I was over at my buddies Mark and Adams last night, and whenever you say something, Mark is automatically, he'll get on his phone. And so he looked up top 10 metal, and November Rain was on there. Dragon Forces was on there. Dream Theater, which I thought you would have Dream Theater.
Awesome guitars, but yeah.
Dime was 4. Randy's Mr. Crowley was 7. Number 2 was Kurt Hammett with 1. And number 1 was Tornado of Souls with Marty Freeman. And there we go back again with the whole Megadeth and Kurt Hammett. But my number 1 was Randy Rhoads, and it's Crazy Train. I mean, I've loved that ever since I was a kid. And I put over here on the sides, I know the Lamberts. I know Jerry's probably smiling through this one, and you know Billy.
Oh yeah.
He would have probably agreed with seeing all these Sabbath and Ozzy guitarists.
And he either gave us an earful of something if he didn't agree with it.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Sure.
Yeah, Billy would have definitely told you.
God rest his soul.
So, you know, to see that we have Jakey, we've had Tommy, we've had Zach, we've had Randy. You know, we've
hit the lineup.
We could have did the whole top 5 with just that.
Yeah,
I mean,
could've.
so
Yeah.
And
it
Zach,
shows you the influence that Ozzy has had and how he can pick guitar players
well,
and
Jakey's
make them.
name even mentioned. I
Yeah.
mean, he's definitely an honorable mention.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no
And he got
doubt.
honorables from all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And I was leaving. I mean, I had thought about that, and I was looking more on the Badlands side of it. Because, you know, I kind of hit a lot later with the Ozzy stuff. So I heard Badlands probably more of that than I did of the earlier Jakey Lee era Ozzy stuff. But I mean, he's damn good. Yeah, I mean, damn good. And just, I mean, you gotta
make your cuts.
He couldn't make
And,
5. I mean,
and Jakey's,
you're going
he's used to it. So
But he gotta be
Poor guy.
For my list, I mean, look who he's going up against.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
people that are, it's my whole history. I mean, these are like big time music I still love to this day.
Adam's like, I even went back and listened to one today, and he's like, yeah, you're right, man. That is a pretty, that guitar is pretty catchy in that one. It's like, yeah, it is. So,
down to me.
yeah,
Yep.
down to you.
What
He
is
said,
it?
Is it this one?
Yep.
Wow, guys.
Well, we talked about that.
Yeah, we did kind of.
So my last one is Tornado Souls, Megadeth, Marty
There you
Freeman.
go.
It's a shred fest. I mean, that dude is phenomenal. I mean,
Him and him and Dave together.
They
Throw some
make a
incredible
killer.
guitar
Yeah, they
stuff.
do. They do.
Golly.
and I so miss that lineup. I mean, that whole lineup, that era when it was like the perfect Megadeth out lineup. You know, it's just, and we always talk about that. You know, just
But you
wanted to bring it
know,
up, but-
Dave, I listened to Dave Effelson. You know, he
That
was
was great.
talking. He was talking about that though. You know how they hear that so much, but he said, you know, just take it as a great memory.
yeah.
You know,
and I
do
do.
you ever
I
want to
do.
ruin that? Plus, you got that.
Yeah.
I mean, we got that for 4 albums.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we might not have never had that. I mean, we did get that for 4 albums,
And-
so we should appreciate.
Yeah, those are 4
which I
damn
do,
good
man.
albums.
It's like there's and Megadeth. I mean, you look at Megadeth history, them 4 albums everybody talks about.
There's, yeah, the guitaring on all of them is phenomenal, and not just from Dave's, but like you're saying with Marty and
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like most people when they think that's the lineup right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You know, and then not the Dave. Dave is one of those guys that has great musicians in their band, but that's just
yeah. When you
I
think of
always come
Megadeth,
back to those.
the Rust in Peace lineup.
Yeah.
can you put a price on peace?
I mean,
That's
yeah,
not
Chris
bass, but
Poland.
whatever.
You know, Chris Poland, you know, he was great. That was, but yeah, when you mention Megadeth lineup, that's the one you want to go with.
Yeah, that's my classic lineup.
And we're at 30.
All right, so comment section.
if you like our
Top
ramblings,
five.
if you
Put
liked
your
our
top
choices,
5.
yeah,
Look,
put your
I'm throwing
5.
4,
yeah.
but I'm
Five.
saying 5.
And if you don't agree with who you think we got,
Then put them on your
Hey,
5.
and
I'm not
But
too
yeah,
proud.
and we'll
to
probably
say-
be like, oh yeah,
And,
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely
hard.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. It's,
I mean, there's so many out there.
because like I said, I was thinking Maiden, but it was
Poor Jakey Lee got Shaft, more D Martini. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a
It,
ton
you
of
know,
them.
and then you could easily, well, I don't want to say easily because it's still kind of hard, but it's probably a lot easier for many people to pick their top, you know, because they're going to have that one guitarist they're all about. Go to 5 and keep it down to 5.
And then, you know, I'm sitting here thinking of Avenged Sevenfold guys.
Oh, I was thinking they made the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, their guitar work. I remember.
Not you said that.
Backcountry, golly. I mean, first time I saw that was life changing. That was like we hadn't seen a solo in years, and then all of a sudden, Avenged Sevenfolds comes out.
And you got Fear and you know they're doing the Fear and
Yeah.
Loathing, so that's I love
But
that.
I mean,
part.
you know, that's what
Hunter.
I'm saying. But we hadn't had a guitar solo for a long time.
Yep, and that definitely had a hell.
You know, they helped research it. So I mean, you know, there's another one.
I
that,
mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
And on and on and on. And
so
it's
like I
hard.
said, I guess
like
comment
assholes,
section,
every have them. You know, we all have our opinions.
you know, y'all's top 5, and you know, maybe give us another idea to talk about.
Yep, we could do drummers, basses.
Greatest songwriters, bass players, drummers. You know,
Make it hard on us,
listen-
huh? Like the guitarring was hard
I
enough.
was going to
man.
say, this one was a hard one.
Yeah, but y'all want to wrap this one up?
Yeah,
So,
we're getting
roll it
long.
up,
We're
man.
getting long.
like I said, stay safe, everybody.
Stay positive and
Warm
happy,
this
man.
up.
Like and subscribe.
Till next time.
Peace.
Click, banging.